Okay, let's unpack this. I mean, picture the ultimate modern metropolis, like an absolute powerhouse of a capital city. The economy is booming, unemployment is practically zero, and its defenses are so ironclad that rival nations wouldn't even dream of messing with it.
Right, it's the glittering destination everyone on Earth is trying to get into.
Exactly, and that untouchable golden city. Well, that was ancient Nineveh. Today, we're doing a deep dive into some really fascinating theological reflections on the biblical book of Nahum, specifically chapter 2.
Yeah, we are trying to figure out how a superpower like that just vanishes and, what the spiritual implications of that collapse actually mean for you today.
Right, because to really grasp the sheer scale of this collapse, you have to understand who the Assyrians were, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Nineveh wasn't just wealthy. It was the capital of the Assyrian Empire. They were essentially the apex predators of the ancient Middle East.
The apex predators. I like that.
Yeah, they didn't just defeat their enemies. They made these brutal, terrifying examples of them.
Which makes the source's description of them as a lion's den incredibly fitting. I mean, the text pictures a place where the lion and lioness could raise their cubs with absolutely no one to disturb them.
Exactly. They tore enough meat to fill their caves, literally feeding on the wealth and labor of surrounding nations just to build this massive, perfectly secure hoard of treasure.
Wow. And the author of Nahum describes the city at its peak as a pool filled with water, right?
Yeah, which is just a brilliant metaphor for an overflowing, contained, and seemingly infinite resource of people and wealth. But then, the narrative shifts violently. The pool breaks.
The contrast is jarring. One moment it's an impenetrable fortress, and the next it's just completely desolate.
Right. The water, which represents the massive population, is just hemorrhaging out. The sources describe people fleeing, crying out, "Halt, halt."
But nobody turns back.
No, nobody. The terror is so absolute that knees are trembling and faces are growing pale.
Wait, really? Just instantly? I mean, realistically, empires collapse because of supply chain failures or internal rebellions or massive rival coalitions. If it was a literal superpower that no surrounding nation dared invade, how does a mighty lion's den just empty out like water draining from a broken pool?
Well, historically, the records confirm Nineveh fell to a very real military coalition of Babylonians and Medes. But the theological texts we are analyzing point to a much deeper causality behind that physical defeat.
Okay, so what does this all mean? Wait, so it wasn't just a failure of foreign policy. I mean, the text implies their ultimate security system failed entirely because the universe's creator actively flipped the switch on them.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is how verse 13 of Nahum reframes the entire collapse from a geopolitical battle to a divine judgment. The ultimate turning point isn't a superior army breaching the walls.
Right, it's a divine declaration.
Yes, it's where the Creator says, "Behold, I am against you." God actively burns their chariots and cuts off their prey.
That is heavy. The chariots going up in smoke isn't just a battlefield loss. It's the universe's architect dismantling the very tools Assyria used to terrorize others.
Yeah, and the reflections highlight a profound theological argument here. We tend to think the most pitiable person in the world is someone lacking vision or courage or, financial resources.
Right, someone who's just down on their luck.
Exactly. But these sources argue that the ultimate tragedy isn't losing your wealth or military might. The most pitiable state a person can actually be in is hearing the Creator say, "I am against you."
It's a chilling concept to analyze, really. I mean, the authors of these reflections turn this ancient history into a mirror for the modern reader. They're essentially asking you if you are depending more on success, money, comfort, or control than on God.
Right, they pose some very direct questions about daily life, like, are you treating divine patience as permission to simply live your own way unchecked?
Wow. Yeah, it's so easy to completely ignore these spiritual warnings when your life looks perfectly stable and successful on the outside.
It really is. The text suggests that true security isn't a passive assumption of safety just because your life looks good on paper. It requires daily repentance and what the reflections call holy obedience.
Holy obedience?
Yeah, like an active daily posture of humility. The illusion of safety is just that, an illusion. especially if it relies entirely on physical wealth or status, rather than a right relationship with the one holding everything together.
Meaning, true security isn't found in hoarding treasure or trying to be the apex lion in your industry or neighborhood. It's about continually evaluating your ultimate foundation, making sure you aren't standing in opposition to the divine.
Exactly. You really don't want to be building your own personal lion's den.
Right. So these texts warn against trusting in worldly success, especially when your life feels perfectly stable. But consider this. What if the very stability, wealth, and comfort you are experiencing right now are exactly the things blinding you? What if the glittering skyline of your own perfectly constructed life is the exact thing making you most vulnerable to becoming a modern Nineveh?